The sky above Seoul turned an odd purple as the sun set. Daeun walked across the empty university campus, her bag heavy with books. At 19, she was the youngest student in her advanced physics class. The other students had left hours ago. She stayed late to finish her work in the quiet library. Daeun looked up at the strange sky. Something felt wrong. The air seemed to buzz with energy. Her skin tingled. She had always been more aware of her surroundings than others. Her friends called it her sixth sense. Now that sense told her to run. But it was too late. A beam of blue light shot down from the clouds. It wrapped around her body like cold water. Daeun tried to scream, but no sound came out. Her feet lifted off the ground. The world below grew smaller as she rose up into the purple sky. Then everything went black. "Wake up, human." Daeun opened her eyes. Bright lights hurt her vision. She blinked several times. She lay on a hard metal floor in a small box-like room. One wall was clear, like glass. Beyond it stood a tall figure. It wasn't human. It had gray skin that looked like stone. Its head was too large, with 3 yellow eyes set in a triangle. Long arms ended in hands with 6 fingers. "You are awake." "Good." The creature's mouth didn't move, but she heard the words in her mind. Daeun sat up slowly. "Who are you? Where am I?" "I am Melok, commander of this vessel. You are aboard the Vora's collection ship." Daeun stood up. Her legs felt weak, but she forced herself to stand tall. "Why did you take me?" Melok's 3 eyes blinked at different times. Humans ask many questions. It is annoying. More creatures appeared behind Melok. They looked at Daeun like she was an animal in a zoo. They made clicking sounds to each other. "She is small, even for a human," one said. "But look at her eyes. No fear." "Interesting," another replied. Melok moved closer to the clear wall. "You will join our collection. We gather specimens from many worlds." Daeun looked past them. The room beyond her cell was large. Other cells lined the walls. Inside them were creatures she had never imagined. Some had too many limbs. Others had none. One looked like a giant blob of jelly. Another was made of what seemed like living rock. A small green creature in the cell next to hers pressed against their shared wall. It had 4 eyes and skin that changed colors as it moved. "They took you too?" it asked in a whisper. Its voice somehow reached her mind. "Yes, just now, I think." Daeun wasn't sure how much time had passed. "What is this place?" The green creature's skin darkened. "This is the Voros ship. They travel between worlds collecting beings for their games." "Games?" "Entertainment. Sport." The creature looked down. "We fight for them, or we get fed to their beasts." Daeun's heart raced, but she kept her face calm. She had learned long ago that showing fear never helped. Melok watched her closely. "This one is different," he said to the others. "The last humans we took screamed for days." A smaller Voros stepped forward. "Commander, should I prepare it for basic testing?" Melok's 3 eyes focused on Daeun. "No, Jinho. This one interests me. Put it with the special collection." Jinho looked surprised. "But sir, humans are physically weak. The special collection is for—" "Do not question me." Melok turned away. "Humans may be weak, but they survive in unexpected ways. I want to see what this one can do." The Voros left, all except Jinho. He stayed behind, looking at Daeun with what seemed like sadness. "I am sorry, human," he said quietly. "You should have run faster." He pressed something on the wall. Daeun's cell filled with mist. Her eyes grew heavy again. As darkness took her, Daeun made a promise to herself. She would survive. She would find a way home. And somehow, she would make these aliens regret ever coming to Earth. Floating in space, surrounded by giant Kirans, Daeun felt no fear. Inside the energy bubble created by her Kiran, she could breathe and speak normally. "What happens now?" she asked. "Home," the Kiran said simply. Its thoughts flowed into her mind. Images of a beautiful world with purple skies and floating islands. The largest Kiran, the mother, moved closer. Her eyes were deep blue, unlike her child's pale ones. She studied Daon with interest. Human good, the Kiran told its mother through their mental link. Save me. We bonded. The mother Kiran made a soft sound. Then Daon felt another presence in her mind. Thank you, small one. A female voice said. My child has suffered long. You freed it. I didn't know Kirans could speak, Daon said. We speak with mind, not mouth, the mother explained. My child learned to use voice for you, a gift of great love. The Voros ship floated nearby, damaged but not destroyed. Daon could see figures moving behind the windows. The other captives, she said. They're still prisoners. The Kiran touched her face with its nose. Help them. Yes, Daon said. We should help them. The mother Kiran seemed to understand. She made a sound like singing. The other space Kirans moved toward the ship. They surrounded it, not attacking now, but holding it in place. A small ship detached from the main vessel. It moved toward them. Jinho, Daon said, recognizing the pilot through the window. The small ship stopped near their bubble. Jinho's voice came through a speaker. Daon, you're alive. He sounded amazed. The council wants to speak with you and the Kirans. They've ordered all captives to be freed. Good, Daon said. And what about you? I'm leaving the Voros, Jinho said. What we did was wrong. Many of us see that now. The mother Kiran's voice filled Daon's mind again. This one has a good heart, different from the others. Yes, Daon agreed. He helped us. The Kiran pressed against Daon's side. Home now. Both. Daon felt torn. She wanted to see the Kiran's world, but she also missed Earth. Her family must be worried. I need to go home first, she told the Kiran, to let my people know I'm okay. Then Kiran home, her friend said. Then together. Jinho's voice came through the speaker again. The council is sending a ship to take you back to Earth. They want to make peace with humans. They fear what might happen if they don't. Fear? Daon asked. Yes. The council has watched everything. A single human girl defeated their greatest weapon and made friends with a creature they thought was just a beast. Jinho sounded impressed. They wonder what would happen if all humans learned about them. The mother Kiran made a sound like laughter in Daon's mind. Small ones scary when brave. Daon smiled. For the first time since her abduction, she felt truly powerful. A larger ship approached from the Voros vessel. The other captives were being loaded onto it. They would all go home. What will you tell your people? Jinho asked. Daon looked at the Kiran beside her, then at its family spreading across the stars. The truth, she said. That we're not alone in the universe, and that humans are stronger than anyone thought. The Kiran pressed its head against hers. See you soon, Daon. Bond forever. Bond forever, she agreed. As the rescue ship approached, Daon thought about what waited back on Earth. She would return not as a victim, but as an ambassador to the stars. The 19-year-old girl the aliens had seen as food had become the bridge between worlds. The Kirans would come to Earth one day, and when they did, humanity would be ready to join them among the stars. Not as prey, but as partners. All because one human girl had shown the galaxy what humanity truly was, not weak, but adaptable, not helpless, but resourceful, not prey, but the most dangerous kind of friend to have, and the most deadly enemy to make. Han Bin pressed more buttons on his controller. The Kiran roared in pain and bucked wildly. Daon flew off its back and hit the sand hard. The air rushed from her lungs. Now the beast will finish her, the announcer shouted. The crowd clicked and cheered. Melloc leaned forward in his seat. His 3 eyes watched every move. Daon got to her feet quickly. The Kiran turned to face her. Its teeth showed in a silent snarl. "I know you don't want to hurt me," Daeun said softly. "They're making you do this." The Kirin took a step toward her, then another. Hanbin pressed the green button over and over. Daeun didn't run. She stood still and kept her eyes on the beast. She remembered more about Earth cats. They respected bravery. They could sense fear. "I'm not afraid of you," she said. The Kirin stopped. It tilted its massive head. The crowd grew quiet. "What is it doing?" Melloc demanded. "Hanbin, make it attack." Hanbin pressed different buttons. The Kirin flinched as if in pain but didn't move closer to Daeun. Daeun took a careful step forward. The crowd gasped. No one had ever moved toward the Kirin willingly. "This has never happened before," the announcer said. "The human approaches the beast." Daeun took another step. The Kirin made a low sound. Not angry now. More like a question. Hanbin looked worried. He turned a dial on his controller to maximum. The Kirin howled in pain. It crouched, ready to pounce. Daeun knew she had seconds. She held up the light tool and flashed it directly at Hanbin again. This time, she kept the light on him. He covered his eyes and dropped the controller again. In that moment, Daeun noticed something strange. The controller hit the ground and broke open. Inside was a small glowing stone. It pulsed with blue light. The Kirin seemed to sense the stone. It turned away from Daeun and looked at the broken controller. It growled deep in its throat. "The control stone is exposed," Jin-Ho shouted from somewhere. "Get it, human." Guards rushed toward Hanbin's platform. Daeun ran too. She needed to reach that stone first. The Kirin moved faster than all of them. It leaped onto the platform in one huge jump. Hanbin screamed and tried to run, but the beast blocked his way. Daeun climbed onto the platform just as the Kirin picked up the glowing stone in its mouth. The stone's light faded. The beast turned to Daeun. For the first time, she saw its eyes open. They were pale blue, almost white. "The Kirin has broken free of control," the announcer shouted. "Everyone evacuate." The crowd panicked. Voros pushed and shoved to reach the exits. Melloc stood his ground, staring in anger and shock. Daeun faced the Kirin. Its massive body could kill her with one swipe. But it didn't attack. Instead, it dropped the now dark stone at her feet. "You wanted to be free," Daeun said, "just like me." The Kirin made a sound like a purr. It lowered its head until it was level with Daeun's. She slowly raised her hand. The beast didn't move as her fingers touched its soft white fur. "Impossible," Hanbin whispered. "No one touches the Kirin and lives." Guards surrounded the platform, weapons ready. Melloc pushed through them. "Kill them both," he ordered, "the human and the beast." The guards raised their weapons. Daeun stood beside the Kirin, her hand still on its fur. She felt no fear now, only a strange connection with this creature that had been meant to kill her. The Kirin sensed the danger. It moved in front of Daeun, shielding her with its body. It growled at the guards, who stepped back in fear. "See," Daeun said to Melloc. "It's smarter than you think, smarter than you know." Melloc's 3 eyes narrowed. "And so are you, human. Too smart to live." He pulled out his own weapon. "I will do this myself." Daeun woke up in a new cell. This one was bigger than the first. It had a small bed and a strange bowl that filled with water when she touched it. The walls glowed with a soft blue light. She wasn't alone. 5 other cells formed a circle around a central area. Each held a different alien. None looked friendly. "The new meat has awakened," growled a large creature with thick red skin and tusks. "How long will this one last, I wonder?" A tall, thin being with 4 arms laughed. Its skin was like tree bark. "It is a human. They are weak. One day, perhaps 2. Daeun ignored them. She walked to the front of her cell and looked out. Beyond the circle of cells was a large empty space with high walls. The floor was covered in sand. Strange dark stains marked the ground. "That is the arena," said a quiet voice. Dae-un turned to see Jin-ho, the Voros who had seemed sad for her. He stood outside her cell, holding a device. "Why am I here?" Dae-un asked. "You are in the special collection now," Jin-ho said. He looked around to make sure no other Voros were near. "Commander Malok saw something in you. Most humans beg and cry when they wake up here." "I don't see how crying would help," Dae-un said. Jin-ho's 3 eyes blinked in order. "The special collection is for fighters or food." "Food." Dae-un felt cold. "The Voros keep many beasts. Some are used in the arena for sport. Others are prized pets that must be fed." Jin-ho moved closer to the clear wall. "I do not agree with what we do here. My people were not always like this. We used to be explorers, scientists. Now we are." He didn't finish. "Why are you telling me this?" Dae-un asked. "Because you are different," Jin-ho said. "I have watched 7 humans come through here. All died quickly. But maybe you." A door slid open. 3 Voros entered the room. Jin-ho stepped back. "Food delivery," he said loudly for them to hear. He pressed buttons on his device, pretending to work. The new Voros went to another cell and took out a small 6-legged alien. It squealed as they dragged it away. When they were gone, Jin-ho whispered, "Tonight there will be games in the arena. Small fights to warm up the crowd. Tomorrow is the big event." "What big event?" Dae-un asked. Jin-ho looked down. "The Kiran must be fed." "What is the Kiran?" "Our greatest prize. A beast from the frozen world of Nyx. It has killed more than 200 creatures from 30 different worlds." Jin-ho's voice shook slightly. "And Malok has chosen you to be its next meal." Dae-un's heart beat faster, but her face stayed calm. "Why me?" "Because humans are interesting to him. Your bodies are weak, but sometimes you surprise us." Jin-ho looked over his shoulder. "I must go, but listen carefully. The Kiran is blind in bright light. It hunts by sound and smell." He pressed something into a small opening in the wall. A tiny metal object fell into Dae-un's cell. "What is this?" she asked, picking it up. "A tool used to fix light panels. It can create a bright flash." Jin-ho backed away. "It will not save you, but it might give you a few more moments." After Jin-ho left, Dae-un sat on her bed. She turned the small tool over in her hands. It looked like a pen with buttons. The tusked alien laughed at her. "What will you do with that, human?" "Poke the Kiran to death." Dae-un didn't answer. She was thinking. The Voros had taken her books, her phone, and her freedom. But they hadn't taken her mind. If the Kiran hunted by sound and smell, and was blind in bright light, then maybe there was a chance. A small one, but still a chance. She began to plan. The Kiran charged. Its 6 legs moved faster than Dae-un expected. She waited until the last second, then rolled to the side. The beast missed her by inches. Its claws dug deep into the sand where she had stood. The crowd made loud clicking sounds. Some seemed surprised she had dodged. Dae-un ran toward the nearest shadow area. The Kiran turned and followed. It didn't seem to have eyes, but it followed her perfectly. It could smell her, she realized, or hear her. She reached the shadow and turned to face the beast. It slowed as it approached the darkness. Jin-ho was right. It didn't like areas with changing light. "The human runs to the shadows." The voice boomed. "A smart move, but the Kiran will find her. It always does." Dae-un remembered what she knew about cats on Earth. They were hunters. They liked to play with their food. They had amazing senses. But they also had weaknesses. The Kiran paced at the edge of the shadow. It made that grinding sound again. It was waiting for her to move. Dae-un took out the light tool. She needed a plan. The tool could make a bright flash, but that would only blind the Kiran for a moment. She needed more than a moment. She looked around the arena again. The sandy floor. The rocks. The bright lights above. Then she noticed something else. A small raised platform where a Voros stood watching the show. This Voros held a device in his hands. Each time he touched it, the Kiran's head turned slightly. It was like he was giving the beast directions. The Kiran is being controlled, Diane whispered to herself. She studied the Voros more carefully. His device had lights on it, different colors. When he pressed a green light, the Kiran moved forward. When he pressed a red one, it stopped. A plan formed in her mind. It was dangerous, but it might work. Diane stepped out of the shadows. The crowd clicked excitedly. The human offers herself. The voice said, "The Kiran will feast soon." The Kiran tensed, ready to pounce. Diane saw the Voros press the green light on his device. Just as the beast leaped, Diane pressed the button on her light tool. A blinding flash filled the arena. The Kiran screeched and crashed to the ground, missing her again. It shook its head in pain and confusion. Diane ran, not away from the beast, but toward it. The crowd went silent in shock. She jumped onto the Kiran's back while it was still confused. The beast roared and tried to throw her off. Its white fur was soft, but its body was all muscle. Diane held on tight with one hand. With the other, she pointed the light tool at the Voros with the control device. She flashed the light tool again. This time, the flash hit the controller's eyes directly. He dropped his device in pain. Without commands, the Kiran seemed lost. It stopped moving and made a confused sound. "What is happening?" the voice demanded. "The beast must feed." Melloc stood up from his special seat. "Han Bin, control the Kiran." He shouted at the Voros who had dropped the device. Han Bin scrambled to pick up his controller. "Yes, Commander." Diane knew she had only seconds. She leaned close to the Kiran's head, where its ears should be. She remembered reading that cats respond to certain sounds. On Earth, a soft ps could call a cat. She tried it. The Kiran's head turned. It made a sound that wasn't angry anymore. It was curious. "The human is communicating with the beast," someone in the crowd shouted. Han Bin finally got his controller working. He pressed the red button repeatedly. The Kiran roared in pain. Diane felt its muscles tense under her. It wasn't angry at her. It was angry at the pain from the controller. She had made a connection with the beast. Now she needed to use it. Floating in space, surrounded by giant Kirans, Diane felt no fear. Inside the energy bubble created by her Kiran, she could breathe and speak normally. "What happens now?" she asked. "Home," the Kiran said simply. Its thoughts flowed into her mind. Images of a beautiful world with purple skies and floating islands. The largest Kiran, the mother, moved closer. Her eyes were deep blue, unlike her child's pale ones. She studied Diane with interest. "Human good," the Kiran told its mother through their mental link. "Save me." We bonded. The mother Kiran made a soft sound. Then Diane felt another presence in her mind. "Thank you, small one," a female voice said. "My child has suffered long. You freed it." "I didn't know Kirans could speak," Diane said. "We speak with mind, not mouth," the mother explained. "My child learned to use voice for you, a gift of great love." The Voros ship floated nearby, damaged but not destroyed. Diane could see figures moving behind the windows. "The other captives," she said. "They're still prisoners." The Kiran touched her face with its nose. "Help them." "Yes," Diane said. "We should help them." The mother Kiran seemed to understand. She made a sound like singing. The other space Kirans moved toward the ship. They surrounded it, not attacking now, but holding it in place. A small ship detached from the main vessel. It moved toward them. "Jinho," Diane said, recognizing the pilot through the window. The small ship stopped near their bubble. Jinho's voice came through a speaker. "Diane, you're alive." He sounded amazed. "The council wants to speak with you, and the Kirans. They've ordered all captives to be freed." "Good," Diane said. "And what about you?" "I'm leaving the Voros," Jinho said. "What we did was wrong. Many of us see that now." The Mother Kiran's voice filled Da-un's mind again. "This one has a good heart, different from the others." "Yes," Da-un agreed. "He helped us." The Kiran pressed against Da-un's side. "Home now." Both. Da-un felt torn. She wanted to see the Kiran's world, but she also missed Earth. Her family must be worried. "I need to go home first," she told the Kiran, "to let my people know I'm okay." "Then Kiran home," her friend said. "Then together." Jinho's voice came through the speaker again. "The Council is sending a ship to take you back to Earth. They want to make peace with humans. They fear what might happen if they don't." "Fear?" Da-un asked. "Yes. The Council has watched everything. A single human girl defeated their greatest weapon and made friends with a creature they thought was just a beast." Jinho sounded impressed. "They wonder what would happen if all humans learned about them." The Mother Kiran made a sound like laughter in Da-un's mind. "Small ones scary when brave." Da-un smiled. For the first time since her abduction, she felt truly powerful. A larger ship approached from the Voros vessel. The other captives were being loaded onto it. They would all go home. "What will you tell your people?" Jinho asked. Da-un looked at the Kiran beside her, then at its family spreading across the stars. "The truth," she said, "that we're not alone in the universe, and that humans are stronger than anyone thought." The Kiran pressed its head against hers. "See you soon, Da-un. Bond forever." "Bond forever," she agreed. As the rescue ship approached, Da-un thought about what waited back on Earth. She would return not as a victim, but as an ambassador to the stars. The 19-year-old girl the aliens had seen as food had become the bridge between worlds. The Kirans would come to Earth one day. And when they did, humanity would be ready to join them among the stars. Not as prey, but as partners. All because one human girl had shown the galaxy what humanity truly was, not weak, but adaptable, not helpless, but resourceful, not prey, but the most dangerous kind of friend to have, and the most deadly enemy to make. Alarms blared throughout the ship. Red lights flashed in the holding room. The Kiran's family outside had been spotted. "Warning! Unknown space creatures approaching. All guards to defense stations," a voice announced over speakers. Da-un felt the ship move. They were trying to get away from the space Kirans. The door to the holding room burst open. Malak rushed in with 6 guards. "What have you done?" He shouted at Da-un. "How did they find us?" "They came for family," Da-un said, "just like humans would." Malak grabbed her arm. "You will help us escape them. Tell the beast to send them away." The Kiran growled and moved toward Malak. Guards pointed their weapons at it. "I can't control what it does," Da-un said. "Our bond isn't about control. That's what you don't understand." The ship shook violently. The space Kirans were hitting it from outside. "Commander," a voice called over Malak's communication device. "The ship's outer hull is breaking. We must release the captive Kiran, or they will tear us apart." "Never," Malak shouted. He pulled Da-un toward the door. "Bring the beast. We'll use its connection to the human to make it help us." Guards tried to surround the Kiran. It leaped over them and landed beside Da-un. Its teeth bared at Malak. "Let her go," a voice said from the doorway. Jinho stood there with several other Voros. They wore different uniforms than Malak's guards. "Council security," Jinho said. "By order of the Voros elders, release the human and the Kiran." "This is my ship," Malak snarled. "I give the orders here." The ship shook again, harder this time. Something crashed nearby. "Your ship is about to be destroyed," Jinho said. "The space Kirans will not stop until their child is free." Malak pulled his weapon and pointed it at Da-un's head. "Then they will lose their child and this human too." The Kiran made a sound unlike anything Da-un had heard before. It was not a growl or a roar. It was a word. No. Everyone froze. The Kiran had spoken. It talks. Malak's hand shook. I learn, the Kiran said in a deep, rumbling voice. From her mind, human and Kiran connect. Dayan felt something strange in her head, like the Kiran was inside her thoughts. Not taking them, but sharing them. Our minds are linked, she realized aloud. That's the bond. Yes, the Kiran said. Share thoughts, share words, share life. The council security Voros moved forward. Jin-Ho stepped toward Malak. It's over, Commander. The bond is proven. They must be freed under our ancient laws. Malak's 3 eyes darted around, looking for escape. Finding none, he shoved Dayan toward the Kiran and fired his weapon at the clear wall. The wall cracked. Air began to rush out. Alarms screamed louder. If I can't have them, no one will. Malak shouted over the noise. Jin-Ho and the security team grabbed onto fixtures in the room. Malak was sucked toward the cracking wall. Dayan felt herself being pulled toward space. The Kiran wrapped its body around her, holding her in place with its powerful legs. Not afraid, the Kiran said in her mind. Family comes. The wall shattered completely. Malak screamed as he was pulled into space. The security door to the rest of the ship slammed shut, protecting the other Voros. Dayan and the Kiran were pulled out into the vacuum of space. She held her breath, expecting to die. But she didn't. The Kiran's body glowed with soft light. A bubble of energy surrounded them both. She could breathe. How? She asked in her mind. Kiran protect bonded one, came the answer. Now meet family. The massive space Kirans surrounded them. They were beautiful, their white fur sparkling like stars. One, larger than the others, moved closer. Mother, the Kiran said simply. Dayan realized this was just the beginning of something much bigger than she had ever imagined. The night games ended with blood and cheers. Dayan watched from her cell as the other captives fought each other in the arena. Some fought with strength, others with tricks. Most did not return. The tusked alien had won his match. He came back with cuts on his thick red skin but alive. He looked at Dayan with what might have been pity. You fight tomorrow, human. No, Dayan said. I'm food. The tusked alien made a rumbling sound. The Kiran. Bad way to die. Morning came too quickly. Dayan had slept little, her mind full of plans and fears. She held Jin-Ho's light tool tight in her hand. She had tested it once in the night. It made a flash that lit up her whole cell. The door to the cell room opened. Malak entered with 4 guards and Jin-Ho. It is time, Malak said. Bring the human. Guards opened Dayan's cell. She didn't fight as they took her arms and let her out. Fighting now would waste energy she needed later. Do you know why you are here, human? Malak asked as they walked down a long hallway. To be eaten, Dayan said. Her voice was steady. Malak's 3 eyes studied her. Yes, but also to entertain. The Kiran feeding is our greatest show. Many Voros have traveled far to see it today. They reached a large door. Beyond it, Dayan could hear the buzz of many voices. The last human we fed to the Kiran cried and begged, Malak said. It was disappointing. Will you do better? Dayan looked straight into his 3 yellow eyes. I will try not to bore you. Malak made a sound that might have been a laugh. Good. Jin-Ho, prepare her. Jin-Ho stepped forward with a small device. He pressed it against Dayan's neck. This will track your life signs, he said loudly. Then he whispered, and help you see in the dark areas of the arena. Remember, the Kiran fears bright light. Malak turned to the guards. Open the doors. Let the games begin. The doors swung open. Bright lights hit Dayan's eyes. A huge room spread out before her. Thousands of Voros sat in rings around a massive arena. The sand floor was 10 times bigger than the practice arena she had seen earlier. Go. Malak pushed her forward. Daeun walked into the arena. The doors closed behind her. The crowd made clicking sounds that echoed around the room. A voice boomed overhead. Today we present a special feeding. The mighty Quran will feast on a human female from the planet Earth. More clicking sounds came from the crowd. Daeun looked around the arena. There were rocks and small hills of sand. A few dark areas where shadows fell. She noticed bright lights hung from the ceiling. Released the Quran. A large door on the far side of the arena slid open. Nothing happened at first. Then slowly, something white moved in the darkness beyond. The Kirin stepped into the light. It was huge, bigger than any earth cat Daeun had ever seen. It stood as tall as a horse, with 6 powerful legs ending in claws like knives. Its body was covered in white fur that seemed to glow. Its head was massive, with no eyes that Daeun could see, but a mouth full of teeth that looked like daggers. The crowd went silent as the Kirin sniffed the air. Its head turned slowly until it faced Daeun. It made a low sound, like rocks grinding together. Daeun's hand tightened around the light tool in her pocket. Her heart hammered in her chest, but her mind stayed clear. The human seems frozen with fear, the voice announced. How long will she last? Place your bets now. The Kirin took one step forward, then another. Its 6 legs moved with strange grace for such a large creature. Daeun didn't run. Not yet. She watched, waited, and planned. The beast began to stalk toward her, picking up speed. The time for planning was over. Now she had to survive.